Okay, so imagine this. You're at an aquarium, right? And you're looking into a tank.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you see this school of fish just appear.
Wow.
But, like, you can see right through them.
Oh, wow.
They're so clear. It's like watching a silent ballet.
That's beautiful.
And they're moving so perfectly together, synchronized.
Yeah,
It's mesmerizing.
I can picture that.
Yeah. So today, we are diving deep into the world of the glass catfish.
Oh, cool.
Kryptopterus vitreolus is the scientific name, in case you're wondering.
Okay.
And we're going to try and figure out why this fish, even though it looks so amazing,
Yeah.
might not be the best choice to bring home to your aquarium.
Interesting.
So we've got this really interesting blog post by Ang.
Okay.
And Ang's been keeping fish for a long time, really knows their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They describe the glass catfish's movements, the schooling, as this, like, underwater dance.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they make it sound just captivating.
Yeah.
But then, and here's the thing,
Yeah.
Ang actually suggests that maybe we shouldn't keep these fish in home aquariums at all.
That's unexpected.
I know, right? So I wanted to get your take on that. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it raises some important questions,
Yeah.
like about ethical fish keeping. You
Yeah.
know, just because a fish is beautiful, does that mean we have the right to take it from its natural environment?
That's a really good point, yeah.
Especially when, as Ang points out in the blog, there are all these concerns about whether the glass catfish trade is even sustainable.
Yeah, that's right. They do talk about that.
Mhm.
And another thing I noticed, Ang actually prefers keeping most of their fish in outdoor ponds, or at least in tanks where you view them from the top.
Huh. Interesting.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm guessing it has a lot to do with trying to create an environment that's more natural for the fish.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, think about it. An outdoor pond with sunlight.
Right.
It's way closer to what they'd experience in the wild compared to, like, a glass box, right?
Totally, yeah.
I bet it makes them easier to care for, too.
Oh, yeah, Ang mentioned that, like, it's less maintenance.
Right, the sunlight can help with algae and stuff, keeps the water cleaner.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, makes for a more stable environment.
Okay, so back to this sustainability issue we touched on earlier.
Yeah?
Ang pointed out that many of the glass catfish that end up in the aquarium trade are wild caught.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a problem?
Well, it can be, yeah.
Okay.
You see, unlike some of the more popular aquarium fish, the ones that are bred easily in captivity,
Yeah.
glass catfish, they haven't been as successfully bred on a large scale, at least not yet.
So wait, are you saying that most of the glass catfish you see in a pet store were probably taken straight from a river?
Yeah, that's a good chance.
Wow, that's kind of heartbreaking.
It is, and it's especially worrying when you consider that they're only found in a pretty limited area naturally.
Okay.
So taking too many from the wild could really hurt the whole population.
So I guess the question is, for someone listening who might be thinking about getting a glass catfish, what should they do?
Well, more than anything, I think it's about being a responsible consumer, right?
Yeah.
Before you even bring a fish home, you got to do your research, figure out where it comes from and what impact your purchase might have, on wild populations.
So before you fall in love with how they look and move,
Yeah.
you really got to think about the bigger picture.
Exactly. The beauty of the fish, it shouldn't come at the expense of the entire species, right?
Right, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we agree that we shouldn't be buying wild-caught glass catfish.
Okay.
What are the alternatives then?
Well, first off, there are tons of beautiful fish species out there that are bred in captivity. It's all about finding those breeders who are doing it responsibly.
Right.
But beyond that, there's another approach to fish keeping that Ang mentioned, something I think is worth diving into a little deeper.
Oh, you mean like setting up an outdoor pond?
Well, that too, but they also talked about how much they like viewing their fish from above.
Oh, right, yeah.
And both of those things actually tie into this really cool concept called biotope aquariums.
Biotope aquariums. I'm not familiar with that. What's that all about?
So a biotope aquarium is all about trying to recreate a very specific natural habitat.
Okay.
You're not just throwing together a bunch of fish that look nice together.
Right.
You're actually trying to replicate a tiny slice of a real ecosystem.
Interesting. So, like, if you were going to make a biotope for glass catfish, what would that even look like?
Well, you'd have to think about their natural environment, right?
Okay.
What kind of water do they like? What plants and other fish species would naturally share their habitat?
So it's almost like you're becoming a little bit of an ecologist.
Exactly. You have to understand their world to really create the best home for them.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work, though.
It can be, but that's part of the fun too, you know? You're
Oh.
not just keeping fish, you're building a little ecosystem.
Yeah, I can see the appeal in that.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to Ang's comment about top-down viewing. What makes that perspective so special, especially for glass catfish?
Well, imagine this. You're looking down at a school of these translucent fish,
What about?
and they're weaving and darting through the water.
Yeah,
You'd get such a different perspective on their movements, the patterns they make.
right. It's not the typical side view you get with most tanks.
Yeah, it's more like watching a dance from above, you know?
Oh, I bet that would be captivating.
It is, and it really shows you something important about fish keeping.
What's that?
It's not just about keeping them alive, it's about appreciating their natural behavior, you know?
Right.
Giving them an environment where they can thrive.
So it sounds like we're not just talking about whether it's ethical to own one specific type of fish.
Yeah.
This is a whole other way of thinking about fish keeping altogether.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that these are living creatures with their own needs and behaviors, and we have a responsibility to respect that.
Okay, I gotta admit, this whole biotope concept is really intriguing. I'd love to learn more about that.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
But before we get too deep into that, I think it's important to understand a little more about why breeding glass catfish in captivity is so difficult.
You're right. That's a good place to start.
So we were talking about how hard it is to breed glass catfish in captivity.
Right.
Like, why is it so tough to get them to, reproduce in a tank?
Well, they're just super sensitive, these fish.
Okay.
They need really specific water conditions, not just to survive, but especially to breed.
I see.
Think like low pH, soft water, dim lighting.
Mm.
It's got to be like a black water stream in Southeast Asia. That's where they're from.
Wow, that sounds pretty hard to recreate.
It is, and that's just the water part.
Oh, right.
They're also what we call egg scatterers. They release a ton of eggs, and the male fertilizes them outside the body.
Hmm.
Then the eggs, they just kind of drift around, attached to plants or whatever, and hopefully develop.
I can see how that would be tough to manage in an aquarium.
Right. It's not like some fish that guard their eggs or even carry them in their mouths.
Yeah, yeah.
With glass catfish, you got to get the conditions perfect for them to even lay eggs, and then it's a gamble whether those eggs survive.
So are scientists, trying to figure out how to breed them more reliably?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely research going on.
Yeah.
Some folks have had luck with, hormone injections to make them spawn. But even then, not many of the baby fish survive.
Yeah.
And it's just not practical for most breeders, cost-wise.
So if you want a glass catfish that wasn't taken from the wild, your best bet is to find one that's captive bred.
Absolutely. But you got to be careful.
How so?
You need a breeder who can actually prove their fish are descended from captive-bred parents, not some wild-caught ancestor.
Okay, so how do you even find those ethical breeders? Where would you start looking?
Your local aquarium society or a fish club, that's a good place to start.
Mm.
They usually know the local breeders and who's doing things the right way.
But wouldn't it depend on the group, though? Some might be more into rare fish than sustainable ones.
Yeah, you're right. Not all clubs are the same.
Okay.
But even if they're not focused on ethical sourcing, they can probably point you in the right direction, someone who shares your values.
What about online? Are there good websites or forums for finding responsible breeders?
Oh, yeah, tons. There are whole communities online dedicated to ethical fish keeping.
Cool.
You can find forums where people discuss breeding practices, recommend good breeders, even connect with them directly.
Okay, so let's say you found a breeder you think might be legit.
Mm-hmm.
What are some questions you should ask them to, make sure they're the real deal?
That's a smart move. You want to make sure you're supporting someone who's actually doing things right.
Right.
One of the first things I'd ask is, where do your fish come from?
So you're looking for someone who can give you that clear chain of custody, proofs they're captive bred.
Exactly. You want to avoid any fish that might have been snatched from the wild.
Mm-hmm.
Another good question is, what are your breeding practices?
Okay.
You're not necessarily looking for some fancy certificate. You just want to get a feel for their approach,
So what kind of answers should you be listening for?
You want to hear things that tell you they're putting the fish's well-being first.
Yeah.
Do they have ways to prevent genetic problems? Are they picky about which fish they breed? Focusing on strong and healthy ones.
So it's about finding breeders who are thinking long-term about the health of the species, not just making a quick profit.
Precisely. Responsible breeders, they understand that they're helping to preserve these amazing creatures for future generations.
It's interesting, Aang mentioned in their blog post that they like outdoor ponds for most of their fish
Uh-huh.
because of the natural sunlight and how it makes things easier to take care of.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that could work for other species too, not just glass catfish?
Oh, definitely. And you know what? That comment about outdoor ponds actually reminds me of something.
What's that?
Remember those biotope aquariums we were talking about earlier?
Oh, yeah, right. Those tanks that are like mini ecosystems.
Exactly. Instead of just picking random fish, you're trying to recreate a specific natural habitat.
Okay.
It's like taking a piece of a river or a lake and putting it in your living room.
Sounds ambitious.
Okay.
What would you even need to know to make one of those?
Well, first you'd pick a habitat you want to copy.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, you're fascinated by those blackwater streams in Southeast Asia where the glass catfish are from.
So we're going for that kind of dark, mysterious vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Then you'd research the water conditions in those streams, things like pH, hardness, temperature.
Hmm.
Then you find plants and decorations that look like the real thing, like driftwood, dark gravel, maybe some leaves to stain the water.
And then you get to pick the fish.
Right. You'd choose species that naturally live together in that habitat. Our glass catfish would fit right in, of course, but you could also include other species that like the same conditions.
So it's like a puzzle. You got to find all the right pieces to fit together.
That's a great way to put it, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's challenging, but also really rewarding.
And speaking of Aang's preferences, we were also talking about how they like to watch their fish from above.
Right.
What is it about that top-down view that's so special?
Well, think about it. With a normal tank, you only see the fish from the side.
Yeah.
But from above, you get a whole new perspective. You can really appreciate how they behave naturally, like when they school or search for food.
It's funny, when we were picturing the glass catfish schooling earlier, I was imagining them from the side, like in a regular tank.
I know, right?
But now that you mention it, that top-down view would be amazing.
You'd see those shimmery, almost ghostly shapes moving through the water, creating all these patterns.
Yeah.
It's like watching synchronized swimming from above.
So top-down viewing is all about appreciating the beauty of fish in their natural element.
Exactly. It's about seeing them as more than just something pretty in a tank. You know, it's recognizing that they're living creatures with fascinating behaviors that we can learn from.
You know, as we've been talking about all this, I've been thinking Aang's blog post focused on the ethics of owning glass catfish.
Yeah.
But isn't this a bigger issue? Like, the aquarium trade affects lots of different fish species.
Absolutely. You're spot on.
Okay.
It's not just about one type of fish. It's about recognizing our responsibility as consumers to make choices that protect the whole natural world.
Wow. It's like we've gone way beyond just, like, pets now.
Right.
We're talking about how our choices impact entire ecosystems.
Yeah, you really get it. If the aquarium trade isn't done responsibly, it can have a huge effect on wild fish populations and their habitats, too.
Right. It's that ripple effect, the stuff we don't always think about.
Exactly.
So what about people who are listening who maybe already have a glass catfish at home? What should they do?
Well, the most important thing is to give the fish you already have the absolute best care you can.
Okay.
Make sure their tank is set up properly, they're getting the right food, the water's clean.
So basically, make their current home a good one.
Yeah, exactly. And this goes for any fish owner, by the way.
Oh.
Never release a fish that's not native to your area into a local river or lake.
Right.
That can really mess things up.
Got it. So responsible care is key, no matter what kind of fish you have.
Absolutely. And the more you learn about your fish and where they come from, the better choices you can make both for them and for the planet.
This deep dive into the glass catfish world has been so interesting.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We started with their beauty, how graceful they are, and now we've gotten into this whole discussion about responsible fish keeping.
It's amazing how one little fish can spark such big conversations.
It really is. It's a reminder that every choice we make, even something as small as buying a fish, can impact the balance of nature.
So,
as we wrap things up today, we'll leave you with this thought.
okay.
Could those mesmerizing movements of the glass catfish that underwater dance be a kind of call to action for all of us?
I like that.
A reminder to be more mindful about what we buy, not just fish, but everything. Because even the tiniest choices can make a difference for a healthier planet.
Well said.